Scream Queens.
Welcome back to Screen Queens.
To Screen Queens. My name is Alex J. I am a writer, comedian, and that's it.
And general fucking babe.
Bitch.
Okay, wow. You went for bitch, I went for babe. Honey, what's going on in that brain of yours?
Hey, it's a week of transition. We'll get into it. Things are happening. How are you, my? Oh no,
Well,
you are.
And who the fuck am I? I'm a bitch. Bitch, I'm a mother, I'm a child, I'm a lover, I'm a sinner, I'm a saint, comedian and writer.
Well
done. Hey, we're back. We had a little break.
Yes, we had an unplanned break, so
Yes.
apologies for not letting you guys know in the run-up to it. But we've had a couple of weeks off. Just wanted to explain why. We've had a bit of just getting some life stuff sorted, mostly on my end. I have a bit of news. I have decided to leave my full-time job, my day job, and go full-time freelance.
This is very exciting. This is very cool.
Very exciting, very scary. But yeah, so just kind of figuring all that out, getting the new routines in place. And yeah, so things just got a bit hectic for the last couple of weeks there.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't my best self. I was super busy and
And I was like, we need to give you some time
need
to
to
get
some
your
time
bubbly
to
energy
reset.
back.
Yes.
So people can hear it on the microphone and
Yes.
go into their days.
And
Feeling
also-
overjoyed to hear your voice.
So that I have time to watch the things that we're reviewing.
That's
so
true.
In my
That's
new
true.
lifestyle, I do have time to watch things and to be a proper screen queen. So very excited. And thank you all so much for your patience in our little break there. But we are back, and we are back hard.
Hard as hell. And by hard as hell, I mean, we've also going to do a little bit of reshuffle. Our
Sure.
episodes are going to change. We are doing away with 2 episodes a week officially. That split, unless we have like tons of stuff to say.
Yeah.
But we're just going to be doing one long episode a week. And instead of reviewing one thing, we're just going to talk about everything that we watch on the screens.
On that week, yes. So we'll be doing a little catch up for both of us. You know, there'll be stuff that only one of us has watched, but we'll tell the other one about it. And then we'll have a main thing that we've both watched that we'll review at the end of the episode. So yeah,
Yeah.
just a little bit of news, a little bit of updates.
We are screen queens, but we were like only watching like one thing. And we
screen.
were like, that's not queenly behavior.
No.
Okay? That's bratty prince behavior. And that's not us.
You're right. We are not screen bratty princes. We are screen queens.
We must reign over the full land of screens.
Of
We
all
got to
the
rack
screens.
up those hours for the people
Yep.
as we promised.
Yep. And now I can do that. I'm so excited.
I'm excited. I mean, as a freelancer for many years, I can attest I watch so many things. There's so much time.
I'm so excited to be on the other side of the fence now.
It's great. It's great.
And how have you been, my love? Speaking of a screen, you've been on one of ours recently.
International. Well, not ours. Literally.
Yeah, not ours.
Impossible to get in Australia.
Virtually impossible. to
Unless
find.
you want me to send you the link, then I have a sneaky one. I got to be on The Bachelorette USA. Not as a contestant. That's everyone's first question. Oh my God, I would have mentioned there would have been a period where
Huge.
I'm like, Skip is not around before I was like, I'm on The Bachelorette.
Skipped a couple of steps there.
No, they filmed it down in Australia in April, and they had a date where they went to a comedy club, and then I was a comedian. So if you're in the US, you can watch it on Hulu. It's episode 2 of season 21. But yes, I also want to talk about it more and how it all unfolded, but I signed an NDA, so I definitely won't be talking about it on the Patreon.
And you can take that to the bank.
Yes, thank you.
Great. Dotted the I's, crossed the T's.
Great. Beautiful. Also, you had teased a little story. But speaking of teasers,
Yes, let's
You-
catch up. Let's catch up.
we grabbed a coffee before we came in here and you said, I've been to the dentist. And boy, if I got a story for you. I said, oh my God, let's get on the mic.
Look,
Let me hear it.
I might need to take it down from a boy have I got a story for
okay,
you.
yeah,
and
you did
more-
say that. I, believe it or not, have this tendency to make things more dramatic than they are. You said, I'll tell you on mic.
Yeah.
And later on, when I've told this story, I say, Alex ran down the street in a fluster, pieces of paper falling out of her bag. her head trailing behind her, and she's saying, Rebecca, I must tell you, the craziest thing happened at the dentist. He was swiping sweat from your brow. I said, oh my God, you seem so urgent. We must run upstairs
And
to
we
the
did.
studio.
We bounded up those stairs,
Yes.
out of breath, absolutely panting, and
Yes.
we just jumped straight in here. It doesn't take half an hour to set up the studio at all. It doesn't.
No, dived into the chairs.
Well, I guess just as a little, like, getting back into the pod catch up, what's been happening with me this week. I woke up last night at about 2 a.m, just a bit peckish because I didn't have a proper dinner.
You have a little nighttime run around.
I have a whole other life halfway through the night.
You go to bed early, but then you wake up at people don't know you have the craziest sleep pattern. You just wake up and just rummage around at like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
I'll get a response to a message I send you at 3 a.m. and I'm like, what's she doing? She's having a night run around.
It's my zoomies. Puppy has them, I have them.
Yeah, the night zoomies. Anyway, so you're doing your night zoomies.
And I decided to eat a cracker.
Okay.
And because I was a bit peckish. And
What cracker? Rice cracker?
yeah, multigrain rice cracker. It was delicious.
Oh,
I
okay.
love those ones.
That's. I feel because this is tooth related, that's going to come into play because that's a hard cracker.
It is a hard cracker.
Yeah.
And then, if anyone doesn't know, I have veneers. And then I'm just munching around on my cracker. And then all of a
Beautiful
sudden,
little late night treat of a plain cracker with nothing on it.
nom. Listening to a podcast, catching up on emails. And poop, my tooth just popped off.
Oh no!
This one right here.
Oh, that one there.
Completely fell off. And like, if you haven't seen a tooth without a veneer on it,
Don't Google it.
You don't want
scary,
to.
Scary
because they
stuff.
shave them down. So
Yeah.
they're not like nubs, but they're smaller
Little
than my
shark
teeth
teeth,
were before.
yeah.
And my teeth were small before, hence the veneers. And so I was just like, you know what? This is insane because we are getting back on the mic and back on camera today. You're fucking kidding me. And so anyway, I called the dentist at 7:30 when they opened, and they managed to fit me in at 10 up at Chatswood, and I made it back here for 11 to record.
Oh my God.
That's been my morning this morning.
Go off,
I know I've been
dentist at
problem
Chatswood.
solving all over the place. And I was so worried
Wow.
because the camera, the way we sit, is on this side of my face.
Yeah, on that side of the tooth is. God damn.
So you don't have to podcast with a toothless hillbilly.
Yeah.
That was my
I'm going to
morning.
get you some water crackers
Thank you.
for your night snacks.
Thank you.
Multi-grain cracker, too hard.
It's just
And the least enjoyable of all the crackers.
yeah. You know, I've had them for like 10 years now, and that's kind of like the adhesive just wears off after a while. So they'll just probably start popping off here and there for
Right.
the next couple of years until I get them redone. Anyway,
Keep
that's
your
been my
eyes out
morning.
for a little shark tooth in our videos.
Yuck! I could never.
Hey, don't feel bad. I got my beautiful horse teeth that everyone gets to see every episode. So
Don't get me
they're-
started.
They're
Don't.
already over a tooth hurdle by watching this on screen.
No, look. We've talked about this before. I'm
Mm-hmm.
a tooth girl myself. I love teeth, and you have beautiful teeth, and I will not hear it.
Thank you.
I will not hear it.
It's still my deepest insecurity. I don't think I'll ever properly get over it. Is there okay now? But
Perfect.
me and my relatives all have the same teeth, and I see where it ends.
Oh.
And it's not cute.
But do you know what? You're looking at older relatives.
Yes.
So you're looking at older relatives and the, teeth hygiene that they've had through their lives, which probably isn't great, right? I don't think toothpaste was invented till like 1994.
I don't
So
think so either, yeah.
you'll be fine.
Okay. Or I might also just, get some veneers eventually.
Yeah.
Like I've been promising to do for 2 years.
Join the club.
Join the club.
Do you have anything that you'd like to update the listeners on before we move into reviews?
I do, but I will save it all for the Patreon because
Okay.
I've been doing my whole life is watching too much TV. So I have a lot of things I want to talk about.
Okay, great. What have you watched this week?
What have you watched this week? And
Rebecca?
Technically this is this month, but
Yeah.
I
catching
have been making my way through season 3 of The Bear, as many people have. And
I've heard things.
I am furious that it's in the comedy category for the Emmys.
Yeah, that fucking sucks because they'll win. right? Because they're the bear.
Yeah.
They're the landslide
It's a very well-made show.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's not fair because then other actual comedies won't get a fucking look. As if the bear's it's a drama.
Maddie Matheson, I always second guess it because it's like, that's a made-up name.
That's not real.
He's hilarious in every scene he's in, and he's the EP. So I think that's why it counts as a comedy. But he's in every episode for 2 minutes.
Ah.
Yeah.
Nah, because like who are they up against?
Oh, let's have a look. Okay. Oh, God. Who else is up for it?
Also nominated, Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oof.
For its final season.
Come on.
No, it needs Hacks. If the bear wins comedy over Curb and Hacks.
Yeah.
Then we have Palm Royale, Reservation Dogs, What We Do in the Shadows, Only
What We Do in the Shadows?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Another excellent show. One of the funniest shows I've watched all year.
Look, maybe the bear won't win because there's some fucking hot contenders.
But it also might because it also has like, I mean, I will say in this last season it has started wanking itself off a little bit.
That's what I've heard, that it's like people are quite disappointed with season 3.
Well, because I think it meant to end up this way of getting into almost like a psychological, like inside the mind of a brilliant chef who's haunted. But like there's episodes that are full just like montages of nice food. Like the first episode of season 1 is just literally a montage of going through the main character's best meals that he's ever made. Oh. And there's no storyline. It's just, and you get to the end, you're like, that's fucking it.
What? That's the first episode of season 3?
Yes.
Oh, that feels like filler.
Yeah. Well, again, it's like, but it's artistically beautiful. Like, it's beautiful, but I was like,
okay,
what the fuck was that?
But it's different.
Yes.
Yeah. That's not what you fell in love with.
Yeah. So, look, I've watched the second last episode of the season, and I'm like, it's good, but also it is starting to jack itself off. And also, the music in it is getting weird.
Oh.
It's like, and I have more to say about music in TV shows at the moment, but and I'll get to it.
We got time.
So look, it's wacky. I hope it doesn't win Best Comedy. It's not terrible, but I will say compared to the seasons, it is lackluster.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Mama.
What have you watched this week?
Well, I've only got one thing to bring to the table because it is my first week out of crazy, almost burnout life. So I watched a film called Late Night with the Devil.
Yes. I was at your house having wine, and then you were like, after this, I'm going to watch Late Night with the Devil.
Look at me.
Australian movie. There's more and more shit being made down here. We've said it multiple times.
Very cool, man. Like, and I don't know if I would have heard of this film. Like, I haven't. Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
You have? Okay. Because, like, I know of it because one of my previous podcasts I produced, Last Video Store with Alex Toliopoulos, he interviewed the star and the 2 directors. So I learned a lot about it.
I love that main actor. He has such an interesting face.
Yes, that was like one of my main notes after watching this film, David Dasmalchian. And it's directed by brothers Colin and Cameron Cairns, who are Australian.
Yeah.
And I fucking loved it.
Hey.
I cannot recommend this film enough.
You don't mind a spooky film.
I love a spooky film. And it's been a while. And because it was Talk to Me, and Talk to Me just didn't get me. It didn't like get into my soul. But this one got into my soul in the way that you want like horror to, where you're just like, oh, I'm in this world. I live here. And it's terrifying. So it's on Apple TV Plus. You do have to rent it, but I'm sure eventually it'll come out.
How much does it rent it for?
$6.
Oh, that's okay. That's reasonable. When they say $16, I was like, I'll just go to the fucking movies.
Yeah, come on. That's ridiculous.
Fuck off.
Are you going to pay me for me to use my TV to screen it? Should at least get a discount for that.
I have to invite 8 friends over to make this worthwhile.
And so basically it's a film set in like the 60s.
Yeah.
And
it's like a late night talk show, right?
It's a late night talk show,
Yes.
Johnny Carson style. And it's this guy, Jack Delroy. He hosts this late night talk show called Night Owls, and it airs at midnight. So it's really late, but they do kind of like different stuff. They like they're a bit more wacky and have a bit more wacky guests on because it's like midnight type viewing, and it's like the weirdos are up at night. And so the first part of the film is just like a kind of little biography 60s style of this Jack Delroy. And we learn about his background, which I won't get into because it heavily spoils the rest
He's
of
the
film.
devil?
Don't bag.
Oh, really?
No, he's not.
I was like, I mean, it's in the title. That's like Fall Guy. It's like, oh. I see what they've done there.
That's one of them twofers.
I mean, you can't get mad at me if that is the actual one.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
they just put it in the fucking front.
And then we come into their Halloween special, their Halloween episode in whatever year it is. And it's it's like a found footage film in that all of the footage we see in the main part of the film is the actual TV studio cameras.
Nice.
So it's just really cool. So it really puts you in there. Like you do feel like you're in like the studio audience or something because there's.
For a second when I saw the trailer, I thought it was a documentary.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So clever. And sometimes you kind of overhear whispered conversations over here and that kind of stuff. And it's so interesting. And the main storyline is that they have this girl come on who is supposedly possessed by the devil. And she's interviewed by her like psychologist. And then that's
Oh no. And
chaos
then it
ensues.
doesn't go well, I'm presuming.
If you can imagine. But it is so perfectly made. Like, it's not for everyone, I'm sure, but it scratched the horror itch that I needed.
Ooh.
It's so spooky, but it's not just that it's a scary, here's the devil. There are Easter eggs, there's through lines, there's reveals that link up to stuff from It's a really well-told story with some really like dark background that they kind of drip feed throughout the film. And yeah, David Dastmalchian, like we said, fantastic actor. Like he looks like he was from the 60s.
Yeah.
He's like so interesting to watch.
Yeah. He's got like an interesting like angular kind of face and like very deep eyes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the eyes.
Yeah.
Very much. He's like kind of odd looking but beautiful.
Yeah. Individual shaped head is
Yes.
what I would say.
You don't find that head
and
anywhere.
not ugly.
No.
Not ugly.
He's
but
odd, like that odd beautiful.
yes.
Yeah, like I just could not stop watching him. And his voice is that, like he sounds like a talk show host from the 60s and 70s. Oh, it's also shot in 4:3, something my partner
What is that?
told me. The square, where it's like not the full screen, but older movies.
Okay.
have
like
the black lines.
when we had square TVs.
Like when we had square
Back in my
TVs.
time when we had square TV, none of this
No,
widescreen. Do you remember when widescreen came in and everyone's like, this is the screen's going to be wide.
I do remember that, actually.
Yeah. It was nuts.
How is this going to work?
What? This is crazy. But I also will watch a full movie, like an old movie that's in square and
And you don't realize.
not notice.
Exactly. That's why I didn't realize it was shot in 4:3 until Luke pointed it out.
Thank God.
Anyway, I cannot recommend this enough. And Apple TV Plus, Late Night with the Devil. I fucking loved it.
Okay.
What else
Fab.
have you got on the docket, my love?
Okay, what I'm loving at the moment, I am only up to episode 3, but a show called My Lady Jane on Amazon Prime. It is vaguely similar to a Bridgerton in the fact that it is a period romance. It's based on, and this sounds so artsy, and I want you to know the show is not. It's very like slapsticky and a little bit campy too.
Okay. Are you about to say like Nietzsche or something?
Literally, I'm about to say it's based off, a real queen in England after the reign of Henry VIII. But particularly, there's a very famous portrait called The Execution of Lady Jane Grey by Delaroche. You would have seen it.
I have heard of that.
It's a painting of like a woman in white, red hair, blindfolded, being led to get her head cut off. And she looks confused. And it's like it's a very emotional painting to look at. And so this is the story of that. And it opens kind of like, I don't know, in this like weird format of like, there's a narrator who has like a very like emotive, like dramatic voice saying like, this is the story of Lady Jane Grey, and she was only queen for 9 days before she was executed. But what if she wasn't? And then the story starts. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like a comedy romance. It's quite horny, I will say, but
we do love a period horny.
it's very easy to watch.
Cool.
Incredibly easy to watch and really, really fun. And definitely for the girlies. I do not watch it around Skip. It's not for him.
Fair.
Similar to Bridgerton.
As is Bridgerton.
It's not for you.
It's not for you. Is Skip mad about that?
He doesn't know I'm
let
watching
me
it.
in,
I wouldn't
let
even
me
tell
in.
him.
Yeah, of course.
Stay the fuck away from essentially my softcore pornography.
This is personal and private.
And
Fucking
also,
creep.
there's a lot of actors in it I don't recognize. Like the cast is really new and everyone's doing a great job.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. We love new talent.
And the leading man is attractive in an unconventional way. He's the boyfriend of Mary Beth Barone, the comedian.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, which also I'm like, okay, he loves a funny girl. Hot. Love.
It's the Jenny Slate, Chris Evans. Like,
yes.
I love when movie stars date female comedians.
I know. It makes me respect them. I'm like, that's someone
I
who's
like.
not scared.
Chris Evans can never do any wrong ever again because he dated a comedian.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unless he gets cancelled.
But
So be on your best behavior, buddy.
no, there's some wiggle room there now.
The one thing I will say about the show, it's done this thing that a lot of new shows I'm finding is bothering me. I don't know what's happening in music licensing for streaming services.
Okay.
But shows now seem to refuse to hire a composer to write a score for shows. So every song is a song that can just have a license bought from it. So it's a lot of like, and also the choices are songs that are explaining what is happening in the scene.
Oh, no.
When it's like, you can just play a violin.
Yeah.
I know that it's meant to be sad.
Yeah.
You don't need to have a song that's like, and her heart is broken. Her heart is shattered and she's walking to the turret and she looks real sad. Does he love her? Does he love? And I'm just like, you shut the fuck up.
Less is more.
Less.
Let me think that. Let me ponder.
I understand subtext, okay?
Yes.
I understand nuance. And also the dialogue has said what is happening.
She has literally said, my heart is broken and I'm walking to the turret. You don't need to sing that.
I don't need a Sabrina Carpenter song to wrap that up for me.
Yeah.
It's really starting to bug me and it's ruining a lot of shows.
Is there any in particular that spring to mind?
I mean, also it happened in Never Have I Ever, I think. And also, I mean, it does it in A Family Affair, which we're going to talk about in a second.
Yeah.
A lot of rom-coms and everything, just like new shows. And I'm just like, just hire a composer, goddammit.
Just play instruments. Go on to Epidemic Sound. They've got so many lyric-free songs.
Get onto Artlist.io.
Exactly. You can just
even
download
that's
it
not good
without
enough
the
for me.
lyric stems.
No, I hate that. No, literally hire a composer. There are people that go to university and get these degrees who are very talented.
And I bet they're fucking out of work right now.
Yes, who aren't Hans Zimmer, God forbid. Like, you hire these people because it works and it's nice. And
you
I
know
hate...
what? They could be a baby Hans Zimmer. You don't know.
Yes. I would give this show a full 5 stars out of 5 if it didn't feel like it was forcing the emotions and plot down my throat.
Well, it's exposition via song, right?
Yeah.
You don't need that.
It's like there's a script, there's a narrator, and the song.
There's a narrator as well?
Yes.
That's just lazy. Like, that's bad TV making, surely. If you need a song to do exposition for you, surely that should come through the dialogue.
Yeah. Thank God the dialogue is
direction.
funny, so I can forgive it. But
Okay.
you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Bummer.
Anyway, but I still really like it. I'm really enjoying it. I will let you know how I feel about it as time goes on.
As time goes by.
I have another thing I watched a little while ago that I would love to talk about.
Please.
And my friend Jade, who is also a friend of the pod, messaged me saying, you have to watch this.
Okay.
It's on Netflix, America's Sweethearts, about the
I've
Dallas
been
Cowboys
wanting
cheerleader.
to watch this.
Look, full trigger warning for eating disorders on this one.
Ooh.
This is, okay, so it's like some of the most conventionally beautiful women who are in a cheerleading cult that is the Dallas Cowboys.
Ugh.
It is these
My heart hurts.
hotties with stacked bodies, okay? It is their dream to be dancers, but unfortunately, Beyonce is all booked up.
Yeah, it's just
all
not
right?
a lot of avenues.
And these are also conventionally beautiful white women.
Yeah, okay.
They don't belong there.
They don't belong.
There's some of them there, but you know, it's like...
I mean, JoJo Siwa's coming back. So.
yeah, they can go on the JoJo Siwa tour. That is an absolute slap in the face,
so sorry.
Alexia. That was one of the meanest things you've ever said.
So sorry to America's sweethearts.
And because it's like these women commit their whole lives. They are dying and they can only be part of the Dallas Cowboys for 3 years.
Stop.
Before they do 1 year and they're considered veterans. And these women are 23 and they're like...
They can only cheer for 3 years?
Yes.
What, do their bones break after that? Do they disintegrate?
Yeah, they do. Going on to like see the veterans who are like, yeah, I had to have like a hip replacement. Like my whole foot had to be cut off and replaced after this.
Oh my God.
It's wild. And they pay these women nothing. They pay them like minimum wage and it takes up their whole life. And then a lot of them are also have to work another job on top of it. Yeah.
It reminds me of when the Matildas were first formed because no one would like fund them. They had to work a day job and also play like international sport.
Well, the Olympics is happening now and that people don't understand. It's like all those people who are running and jumping and doing the most amazing things physically, they all have day jobs.
Yeah.
They all...
Because that doesn't pay.
Yes.
Like the endorsements deals and stuff, that pays. But if they're not doing that,
But that's if you're like the country's like golden girl or a boy or they or them. Yeah. Like otherwise... These people have like taken leave from their jobs to be there.
And you get paid I know in the Olympics you get paid if you get a medal, but it's up to your country how much they pay. So I've heard that like I think some European country pays like $100K if you win a gold, whereas America only pays $30K if you win a gold.
Oh my God, I would love to know what Australia pays.
I would love that too.
You get a meat tray. You get a meat tray and a nice little text from the Prime Minister. G'day, it's Albo. Well done on the gold. Enjoy these snags on me.
Struth.
That's so great.
Anyway, sorry for interrupting. So these beautiful cheerleaders disintegrating their bodies for $2 an hour.
And also the women that run it are crazy. These are some of the most...
Can imagine.
God, you think day-to-day Karens are bad. These bitches, their entire life is upholding the values of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
Yuck.
They are women in their 50s that are just commenting on these women, saying the most brutal things. Like at one point,
these poor little girls, like they're girls.
Yes, they're babies, and like there's like you see like the most. She's like there'll be women who are like a size 6, giant tits, juicy ass, right? Hair curled to perfection, piercing blue eyes, right? And then these women will be like, yeah, she's beautiful, but she gained a bit of weight in her face, which is a real shame. And it's like you look at her and be like, if they think that's weight in the face, they must think I'm smuggling a whale in these goddamn cheeks. Jesus Christ.
I mean, sometimes you can just like have eaten salt the night before and your face changes the next day. Like
they'd see me and be like, what's that life-size chipmunk doing?
Did Alex get filler? No, she just had chips last night.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? After like 2 wines now I wake up, I'm like, who are you? What have you done? Get out of my house.
Where do these extra under eyes come from?
What the fuck is happening?
Who put them on there?
At one point, the hardest thing for me is like these, again, I cannot stress. I mean, it's absolute bisexual fuel, I will say.
Yeah, I get it.
I was really feeling the rainbow flag while watching this.
I was allied up.
I was like, oh my God, did the contrast and hue just get turned up? Because I'm seeing rainbow on screen. This is crazy.
I can feel colours.
But so they try on this outfit, which is like tiny little short shorts and then like a little tied up shirt. It's hot as fuck. But they're like, this girl comes in, she's perfect. She's perfect, right? She's fit, she's tight, she's flexible. And
what more can she do?
Well, guess what? Her belly button's too high. Her belly button's too high. So she's literally, they're like, it's a shame her belly button's too high. I'm like, she can't fix that. What are you like?
Belly button's too high?
Belly button's too high.
What does that even mean? Too high for what?
Apparently the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, they can't
Does
have
it
a belly
throw
button
off
too
her
high.
equilibrium or something?
On the Jumbotron, people will just start jeering, saying, what the fuck's up with that belly button?
Why is there an alien on top of the pyramid?
People will be like, what the fuck was your mum thinking at birth? Cutting the cord like that. Didn't she know you had dreams?
It should be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader for $3 an hour. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's really upsetting.
These women that have perfect tiny bodies just being torn apart.
It's as though, like, because they're perfect, the older women just have to find something to knock them down about, right?
They just have this very 80s idea of what like a perfect body is. It really feels like trapped in time. Like, you know, when you're like, wow, the world's, you know, parts of it are getting so much more progressive and like so much body positivity. And you see this, you're like, oh no, some women are trapped.
Oh no, it's backwards.
It's like, again, the idea of having like the 80s perfect body of like stick legs, giant tits, right? It's like, well, everyone was doing speed then. So that was really easy.
Well, that's the thing. Did you look at their teeth? How are their teeth? Not great.
Not great. You could buy that shit over the counter.
Yeah.
Here, you gotta go get a friggin' ADHD diagnosis to get that shit.
And that
hard.
takes 6 months.
And even then, sometimes you don't lose weight. Sometimes it just stays the same. Sometimes you just get more productive and stay the same size.
Wow. Would you recommend watching it, or is it too upsetting?
I will say it is. There's parts where it's upsetting, but it is fun.
Yeah.
And again, these babes are easy on the eyes.
They're babing.
Do I want to? And you know what? I get to that toxic my point of like, I just want to save them.
Maybe
if you
that's
came,
where it. Yeah, I get
if I
it.
took you out for a beautiful dinner, I'd be like, eat the burger, you deserve it, honey.
Oh my God,
I'ma
you're a
take care
guy
of
at a
you.
strip
You don't
club.
need this anymore.
That's you now.
Yeah. Let's get you out of here. They're like, it's my dream. I'm like,
But it's not mine for you.
So what took you on a boat at sunset? What about that? Could that be your dream?
I'll just look at you. Just let me look at you.
Please.
I want touch.
And you're not allowed.
You know that? No touching. I'll just do one quick shout out before we move on to our main course. So this is a big screen recommendation, definitely.
Ooh.
Just really quick, I went to, as did you, but you went to the session after me, but Alexi Toliopoulos was presenting a bunch of Australian films at the Sydney Opera House a few weeks ago, and I went and saw The Last Days of Chez, Nous. And it's a film set in Sydney from, I think, the 90s, and it's set in Glebe, and it's fully shot in a tiny Glebe terrace. It's so fucking Sydney. It's amazing. It's this just like really like small world story just about this family and, you know, single mom, and she's, you know, it's just this lovely kind of capsule in time Sydney 90s story, and I really, really loved it. And then of course Alexi did a Q&A with the director Gillian Armstrong after it, and like this film's 30 years old and some of the actors were in the crowd from 30 years ago.
When I went as well,
Yeah.
because I went to, oh God, what did I watch? It was something about the beach.
Something.
Yeah, I would recommend it, but you literally can't get it anywhere.
Yeah,
so
that's the one that, yeah.
it doesn't matter. But it was like, a neo-noir shot on like Bondi Beach.
Oh.
Which is like, it's cool to see the things shot in Sydney. Like the whole time you're like, I know that place.
Totally.
I've been there.
I don't think that'll ever get old.
Yeah, but similar to Fall Guy, when they're like, I'm going to go over here. I'm like, it takes way longer to get over there, actually. It doesn't make any sense logistically what you've just done.
But yeah, if you can get your hands on Last Days of Chez, Nous, it's a great film that I'd never heard of, and it just turns out the Australian film industry has been trucking along for a while.
Wow.
Turns out. Yeah.
Okay. So Crocodile Dundee was like not the only thing that we've done.
No, there's been more since then.
Okay.
I think that was the first one though.
Yeah.
Shall we get into our main course for today?
Oh my God. Yes. So this is a big medium screen.
Yeah, yes.
Straight to Netflix film.
Straight to the flicks. Don't bother with the cinema.
So we're talking about Family Affair,
I don't know if I'd want to see this on the big screen. I'm being perfectly honest.
Yeah,
I don't want. And we'll get into
if
it.
I paid specifically $25 to see this movie, I would have walked out.
I just mean optically. I don't know if I want to see some of what happened big. Anyway, we'll get into it. And by what happened, I mean Zac Efron's face. Anyway, so A Family Affair, like you said, straight to Netflix. Just came out a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. To fill anyone in who hasn't seen it, don't. Just listen to us talk about it.
Yeah.
It is a story of a young girl in Hollywood trying to make it. She's an assistant for big celebrity superstar Chris Cole, played by Zac Efron. And
he's a big MCU guy.
Yes.
Type actor.
Yeah. And he, whoopsie daisy, ends up fucking her mum.
Oh, no.
Yeah. That classic, you know, when you leave your mum alone for a few seconds, you're like, God, whose cock is she going to gobble up?
My boss?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Leave her alone for a minute and she's just pouncing.
But she jumped.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically the storyline is
Yes.
the trials and tribulations of what happens if your mum starts fucking your boss.
Yes.
And he's a famous person.
And this is the second movie to come out in literally months about an older woman
Yeah.
falling in love with a famous young man.
Yes. We are, of course, talking about not anyone but you.
The idea
The idea of you.
Yes. I mean, which also, hey, is another rom-com that was, you know.
I mean, we're
rushed.
trying. Like this, we're trying, right? Like there are more rom-coms coming out, which we do love because it's time for rom-coms to at least make a dent in the superhero film of cinema.
Yes.
But they just keep missing.
But they're lazy. Like, I keep thinking about
You're right.
one of the greatest rom-coms of all time, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. I'm tempted to rewatch it to be sure that the rom-com genre has not just always been bad
shit,
and I
yeah.
didn't know.
Yes.
Because just like narrative-wise, pacing-wise, a lot of things don't make sense and it feels weirdly dismissive of women. And it's like, well, they don't really care. It doesn't matter that it doesn't make sense. They're just here for the love. And it's like, no.
No, we're intelligent people. We follow plots. We can pick out a plot hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If someone starts having sex too early, guess what? That's something we're probably like really hyper aware of.
Yes.
Probably kills the vibe a little bit.
Yeah. Pretty much what happened here.
Yeah. It makes it porn if they're doing that, you know?
There's just a sex scene.
Someone just walking into a house and then they're like, oh no, now we're fucking. That's porn. Anyway.
So the first indication that I had that this might not be the rom-com to save the rom-com genre is that it's called A Family Affair. To me, it's very basic.
It implies incest.
Well, it does, but it felt very like Hallmark movie title, like I don't know, A Family Affair.
Do you want to know
Yeah.
what it was originally called?
Absolutely.
You're going to lose your mind. So the working title for this film was Motherfucker.
You're kidding me. Well, that's a different film.
The disrespect of that title.
That's insane. That's not this film.
No. Well, it is in a way. It's like
technically.
Technically, yes. And again, another movie similar to Fall Guy that just really puts the plot in the title.
That's what I mean. Like, there's nothing clever about it. A family affair. Like, it feels like a Christmas movie from the 90s, you know? That kind of, I was just like, I don't have huge hopes for this as a rom-com. But, you know, I do like Nicole.
Oh, we love Nicole.
Love
She's
Nicole.
a national treasure.
Love to watch her. Love to hear her. I haven't seen Zac in something in a while. Did you see that wrestling movie that he was in?
No, I've been meaning to see. It was Iron Claw, I think.
Yeah.
I know it's very sad though, and I just
Yeah.
haven't been in the mood for a cry. But I did see him in something else recently, and I do feel bad about the commentary on his face.
I do. And I myself included.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
Oh no, because it's hard to tell if like he did go under the knife too many times, but the story that he is running with, and they actually talked about it in the movie. They did it on tour of like he got a jaw injury, and
That's right. I forgot about the injury part of it.
yes, it healed weirdly, or like the surgery was botched in some way, and now his face looks very different.
Okay.
but that doesn't explain why the top half of his head is different.
Yeah, it's just it's the filler of the world right now. Like everyone has filler, and I've seen so much on TikTok about we don't know what happens to filler 10 years down the track because that hasn't existed yet.
We don't
because it's only 10 years old or whatever, you know? And so now people are getting, like, I saw this one TikTok of an MRI of someone who has old filler and it's migrated through their entire face. Like people, they're now realizing, doctors and stuff, that like filler doesn't dissolve and it doesn't like go away, it migrates. So that's, to me, I forgot about the jaw thing, but what I found kind of hard to watch him for the first, like you get used to it. The first like half an hour, it's just, I thought it was that he had so much filler here that it's kind of like jokering his mouth a bit.
Yes.
His mouth kind of does a bit of a, like a clown thing.
Yes.
And to watch him talk, which is what he's doing in this film a lot, it was really just, I don't know. And I thought it was because of the filler in the cheeks that they all get, like the Ryan Gosling and all that.
It makes a lot of sense. And like this is
pushes
the hard
it
thing.
down.
Like I want to believe the jaw injury story. I do. But when it's like your face looks like all the women that get crucified for having too much filler.
Yeah.
And then you get the scapegoat of being like, well, I'm an action star, so obviously it was an injury. Where it's like, we'll rake women over the coals.
Exactly.
Like the woman that plays Starlight in The Boys is just being horribly trolled online because she like has gotten like a lot of filler and her face, it looks a little bizarre. But like people are being so mean about it.
You don't have to be mean about it. Like they didn't know, right? All these people that have a lot of filler, like they just did that because society implied that they needed to. So it's not their fault. They didn't know. They were probably told by the doctors that, it'll last 2-3 years and all this stuff. But that turns out that's not the case anymore. And I mean, Kylie Jenner, there's a big thing for her lately that she's had so much filler and it is starting to migrate. And she's been trolled so heavily online because her entire brand this whole time has been that I don't get filler and it's just my makeup.
The Kardashians'
lines.
bullshit about being like, we haven't got surgery is so unbelievably toxic.
It's almost uncanny valley at this point. Like, really? Like it's
you have to wonder if it's an inside joke of them of being like, no, but they're so bad at they're just not funny. They're like, no, we haven't had any surgery. And then they try to smile at the camera, but they can't move their mouth.
They forgot the wink. So there's a lot of chatter around Kylie as well because she's been spotted recently wearing COVID masks again. And people are saying, is it because she just can't be photographed anymore because she's just being attacked anytime her face shows up anywhere? Because it's bizarre.
Yeah.
But, I don't begrudge anyone getting filler. I get Botox, as I said earlier, I have veneers. But it's such an interesting thing that it's this whole side of plastic surgery and cosmetic surgery that no one knows what happens at the end of it.
Yeah, and it's getting more and more popular and normal.
And the ones that are starting to look strange and are the ones where I think it's migrating. Anyway, that are my thoughts on Zac Efron's face. I feel weird having a whole section talking about it.
It is jarring, like particularly at the start of the movie. I was like, oh wow, he looks.
It just
different.
is, yeah.
I miss Troy Bolton.
Yeah,
he was so pretty.
Yeah, you could just smile normal.
Yeah,
and then Nicole loves some filler.
Oh yeah.
So that's what I mean. A lot of filler in this film.
A lot of filler in this film. Also, interestingly, this movie, all the three main stars in this movie all have ties to Australia pretty hard. So, I mean, Nicole, obviously an Australian, married to an Australian. Zac Efron, he lived down here for a while because he started dating a barista.
In Byron.
In Byron, yeah. Huh. Just moved down here. I was like, what's up?
Remember that? That was
living
fun.
in Byron. Yeah.
That's cool.
And Joey King dated Jacob Elordi for a long period of time.
Stop.
They were on the kissing booth together.
Oh, I like that.
Yes.
Cute.
So I imagine they were probably, I like to imagine they were probably talking about us a lot.
Of course.
All the time, I've said.
They were just singing our praises down under.
Which beach is the best beach in which city? Ooh la la, that kind of thing.
Speaking of Australian, I was really happy that Nicole had her Australian accent.
Yes.
That doesn't happen very much for her these days.
And she did a good job of like a hybrid of like, I mean, because she also, does she live down here?
I don't know. I'll have to check with her.
I'll text her.
Nick, where you at?
Because I imagine after, I assume she spent the last 3 decades mostly in America.
Yeah.
That like her accent would have changed.
Yeah, I reckon what we heard was her real voice. It's just like, the R's are rounded like American, but she's still got the Australian. And it was cool. I love her Australian voice.
Yeah.
It's so pretty and, I don't know, comforting.
Yes.
Like,
there was a couple of times where, I literally, when she said a sentence, I was like, that's my mum.
That's my mum.
Mum, she's here. Okay. I have to ask, at what point in the film did it take a turn for you? Because to me, there was a very definitive point where I stopped enjoying the film.
Yeah, okay. Look, there wasn't a point that I can think of, but something that annoyed me the whole way through and I couldn't get around it was just how they made movies in this film. I feel like that's not how movies get made.
Yeah.
Just there's a lot of, and it is a rom-com, it's Hollywoodized and stuff, but there was just stuff where, like, I don't know, the lead's assistant wants to rewrite the script for an MCU film and they're just okay with that.
Yeah.
Just all that kind of stuff was just, and I get it, they have to move things along quickly and stuff, but that is another example of feeling like kind of condescended to. Just like, I don't know, everything of the filmmaking industry was so fucking basic.
Yes, while they're rewriting a full script while the movie is
being
shooting,
shot.
which is telling me regardless of if you rewrite it or not, it will be bad.
Yeah. So, there was that kind of like but what's the point for you?
Point for me was when all of a sudden, so basically it started when Nicole Kidman's character, what was her fucking name? Sally. Was it Sally? No. Brooke. Same thing. When Brooke started lying to her daughter about hooking up with this guy. Because it was distressing her daughter. Her daughter had been, also the fact that she's a mum and she didn't know this guy was being borderline abusive and manipulative to her daughter.
Yeah, the plot, nah.
No.
I literally wrote it down. I'm like, I feel like instead of going behind the daughter's back, just run it by her before you do shit.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
Because she would have been like, oh, he's actually abusive to me. Like verbally.
Yeah, exactly. That she could actually, and the big confrontation in the kitchen where she lists all the things, all these foibles. I'm sure you live with your mum.
Yes.
You had an abusive boss, as if you're not coming home every day being like, guess what fucking shit he pulled today.
Yeah, he's holding this associative producer role over my head and he won't give it to me. He's firing me every single day or threatening to.
Like, she's close enough with her mum that they cuddle on the couch. So I have to think that they fucking talk.
Yuck.
Oh, no, thank you.
I'll give my mum a cuddle, but on the couch, we're on opposite ends of the couch.
I mean, yeah, I need space. So they've implied that they've got an incredibly close relationship. Dad died 11 years ago. It's just mum and daughter, as if she's not complaining about her literally abusive boss.
Yes.
And also famous boss.
Yes.
Doesn't add up.
And so then the point for me when I was like, oh, who the fuck was this written by? I've looked into it.
Okay, I was going to say, who is this written by?
Because it went from like a slapstick comedy where Joey King was giving it her goddamn all in this.
Props to Joey King. She was very funny in this film.
She did. She made it silly. She made it funny. Yeah. And that's what I thought the whole movie would be. The point where it turned is when everyone started treating Joey King's character Zara like a bitch for not letting her mum smash. Particularly the line where they're talking about when her dad died and... She's like, I just really don't want mum to like fuck this man who's been awful and abusive to me. And her grandma goes, well, when your dad died, you were 13 and a bit of a bitch. You were actually, when your dad died, you were fucking crazy. And you need to remember that.
When you were 13. And Joey King's character goes, yeah, I was 13.
Yeah, and they're like, well...
So it's like whoever wrote this gets it a little bit, but then I don't know that. Yeah, they just keep putting this weird fucking shit on it.
I've been like, you're being selfish and like, like your mum had to raise you, and that's like really unfair because she couldn't smash, and now she wants to smash, and you're not letting her for a reason that we can't possibly comprehend.
We don't understand. You have not explained this well at all 50 times over.
We all basically live together in a house, but you've only just brought this up apparently that he sucks.
Yeah. And then Kathy Bates is in this film. Love to see
What are you
Kathy.
doing there, Kathy Bates?
It was very jarring.
She got given a different script.
I watched this by myself, but Luke was like in and out. And there was a point I paused. And I was like, look who's in this movie. It's like fucking Kathy Bates.
That's what I thought. And then I was Googling Kathy Bates to look at how many awards she'd won to be like, you don't need this, babe. But then I figured that she was in 2.5 Men for like a really long time.
Oh, she was.
So she truly just does whatever the fuck she wants.
She likes to slum it.
She's Kathy Bates.
But then also I was thinking, Nicole Kidman's in it. So if you present a movie to Kathy Bates that Nicole Kidman's leading.
They're both Oscar winners.
Of course she'd be like, yeah, I'll do it if Nicole's in it. But I love to see a non-filled face on Kathy Bates.
Yes, I love her.
She's fantastic.
And her characterization was really good and believable.
Yeah.
Except for that little monologue that I just talked about.
And except for like just inviting Zac Efron's character to Christmas without running
telling
it by.
the daughter.
Just tell her first.
That was
he
manipulative.
shows up.
Yeah.
That was gross. It was very gaslighting.
Yeah.
And then she just had to kind of like be okay with it. The
Yeah.
poor thing. She's spending her Christmas with her abusive ex-boss.
Yes.
Who's fucking her mum. And they're not like, the amount of times he like smooches Nicole, kisses her hands in front of the daughter.
They're fully just like making out in a corner.
Just like, it's her daughter, dude.
I'm
it's
like,
your
my
employee.
mum would never do that with her partner in front of me. And I would never do that to my partner in front of my mum.
No.
It's just wildly inappropriate.
Just keep it to yourselves for a second.
I get it. She hasn't like, fucked in 11 years, but like she's come in that time.
Definitely.
Like,
also, let's not forget she's very wealthy.
Yeah.
She's very well off. She's had a lovely life. It's not like she's a single mum that's like, got 2 babies on her hips and hasn't thought of like a man in 20 years. Like, she's a well-to-do lady who's beautiful. I bet she's fucked.
Yes. And she also revealed that she wanted to break up with her husband, but then he got cancer.
That conversation with Kathy Bates was pretty full on for a rom-com.
So unnecessary.
Yeah.
So unnecessary to the plot.
Yeah. And then they told the daughter. So like, way to just completely change her entire childhood and memory of her dad.
He's dead. Like, he died.
Do you know what I
That's
think?
enough.
I think they saw Anatomy of the Fall and was like, we need to put in here that he's jealous of her as a successful writer. It was very Anatomy of the Fall.
Yes. Yeah. Of being like, we need to have our Anatomy of a Fall monologue moment. It's like, no, you don't.
That's what it was. It was an Anatomy of a Fall. And that's Nicole being like, and I was just too famous for him, essentially. I was too good.
She is a narcissist in this movie. And
Big time.
Hugely.
Big time.
Of just like, she's like, I can't help that I'm amazing, okay? I can't help that I'm like super good at writing, hot, okay? This fucking guy wants to smash me.
I have an incredible wardrobe. We've shown you it many times in the film.
And I don't even like it, okay? But like, I guess that you're like jealous of me. And that's the whole reveal, is her daughter is jealous of her.
Yuck. Did a mum write this movie?
This is what I'm thinking. I was like, I think this movie was... Because, okay, here it is. So this movie was written by Carrie Solomon, but it was based on a story the director heard from the co-CEO of Warner Brothers.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So you heard a story. Okay. Yeah.
Who is a woman in her 50s.
Mm-hmm.
But she also, okay, so this is where it gets, so it's based, the director hasn't said what the story is specifically, okay, but this woman who is the co-CEO of Warner Brothers, she's in her 50s. So I originally thought, I was like, oh, she fucked a famous person.
She fucked a famous guy.
And her kid was like,
the PA.
being a bitch about it.
She's like, well, I'm going to write a fucking movie about it.
But the plot thickens. She started out as an assistant.
Oh, so she's Zara, maybe.
But she was an assistant to Danny DeVito.
Nicole based on Danny DeVito.
But Danny DeVito has been married since the 70s.
So
it's
the plot
like,
does thicken.
what is the deal here?
Who are you in this film?
Yes, who are you in this film? Or like, I, because it's in the
Or is
Wikipedia.
Or is this a what if, like that show? Like, what if maybe this is her
Danny
fantasy?
DeVito. She's like, I think about it all the time. What if my mum had sex with Danny DeVito?
My life would be so different.
And then I was being a bitch about it.
Lovely Christmases. Speaking of the Christmas, I mean, we'll have to wrap up soon, but the Christmas with him giving her that beautiful bound book of all of her works, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking about it in my 3 a.m. Zoomies last night, and I was like, he's so rich that all he would have done is had the idea and then he would have called someone and they would have done it. He doesn't have an assistant anymore. Well, that's true. But he would have like called a binding company or a company that does it. Like, I don't think Chris Cole is getting on the internet, downloading all the PDFs of her work, calling a place to bind it. Like, I reckon he's just like, that'd be a sick idea. And he's just so rich that he's like, make it happen.
Yes.
So it kind of takes the shine away from a thoughtful gift when they actually are too rich to do anything for it.
Yes. Do you have any other thoughts?
There was one line that I quite liked, and it was from Kathy Bates. So you know how Nicole Kidman's character
is perfect and doesn't do anything wrong.
Is so fine, and I wish she was my mum. Is really worried about how it will end. Like, that's kind of the through line. She doesn't want to jump in. It's like so fucking. It's such a trope. But she's like, I'm so worried about how this relationship will end. I don't want to need him. I don't want to get hurt. And then when she's talking to Kathy Bates about whether she should keep fucking Zac Efron, and they're on the couch during that Anatomy of a Fall chat, and Nicole says to Kathy Bates, if it ends, it's going to hurt. And then Kathy says, honey, the ending is none of your business.
I loved that. I love that
line. Great line. What a great way of looking at things, especially for an angsty girly like myself. We're always looking at the end. We're always thinking about what ending will happen to something.
I literally have a friend at the moment who has met someone wonderful, like the best person that he's dated in such a long time.
Great.
And he's like, I don't know, like I know that I'm really going to like him, but then it might end. And I'm like, babe, lean in.
Yeah.
I need you to lean in,
Well, that's
babe.
a great way to say the end's none of your business.
Yeah.
It's not my business.
Yeah.
That's future Alex's business.
Yes.
I love it. So that's my takeaway from this
Yes.
film.
Actually, what I liked about this film is when they went on that date to the Hollywood lot and they were going through the costume department and trying everything. Nicole Kidman puts on a top hat and I was like, Satine!
Satine!
She's Satine! Babe! I missed you.
The show must go on.
I just saw her coming down on the swing. And I was like,
yes.
She's an icon. God.
Now I want to go watch Moulin Rouge.
I think we should do that as a palate cleanser to this movie.
Yep. All right, let's rate it.
Well, okay. How many? Oh my God. Joey King falls.
Yeah, I also just want to give another shout out to Joey King and her friend. Their dynamic I loved.
Liza Koshy.
Oh, I've not seen her in anything before.
Okay, well, because she was originally big on Vine, and then she's been
stunning.
She's so pretty, and she's also an excellent dancer as well. But then she was really big on YouTube, so this is like she started acting and stuff now, and she was great in this.
I loved her and her style too. The hairstyle, like
Yeah.
But I love their dynamic. Very funny.
And I was expecting her because a lot of YouTubers are like, when they get on screen, are too big because they're used to overperforming everything.
Right.
She was great.
She was fantastic.
So shout out to Joey King. Shout out to Liza Koshy. I would love to see a movie about their friendship.
Actually, yeah. Because I loved their little conflict moment and resolution was really lovely.
Yes.
That felt real. Okay, sorry. How many?
Joey King falls.
Joey King pratfalls out of 5. Look, I give it a 2.
I'm there with you. And the 2 is for the first half of the movie.
Yeah, maybe even a 1, honestly. And it's mainly for Joey and Nicole and Kathy. Sorry, Zach.
Sorry, Zach. I mean, he wasn't
bad. He was fine.
Yeah.
But he wasn't, I don't know.
Yeah.
anything.
It was hard. They also didn't really give you anything to root for him. It's like you didn't really want him to win because they revealed a little bit of a backstory about him.
But too late.
Yes.
They revealed an empathetic backstory too late.
Yes.
And it wasn't big enough to overshadow the shitty stuff.
Yeah, if they'd explained why he acts the way he acts, and it's because he's actually been through a lot.
Yeah.
But his backstory was like, I moved to LA when I was really young, and like, I got famous really quickly, so I didn't have time to make any friends.
Okay.
I don't give a fuck.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
So 2 for me.
Yeah, I agree with you too.
Okay.
Yeah, don't stream it. If you don't want to watch it, don't stream it. I regret bumping up the numbers because when I googled it, it was like number 7 on streaming services for rom-coms. So I was like,
now that we've both watched, it'll be number 5.
no.
Well, we all know that the Netflix algorithm and those lists aren't real anyway.
Yeah,
they just put up what they want to promote.
All made up.
I'd love to see the numbers. Well, that's it. We're back on deck.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for your patience. We love you very much. And we're back on deck with the patrons as well. And next week, I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
Would you be okay with doing Twister and Twisters?
Oh my God. Okay. We can say this on microphone because the next words out of my mouth were like, can we please do Twister?
Stop.
Because
that's staying in.
We have to do it because not only is Twister one of your favorite movies of all time, I have heard really fun things about the new one.
So have I.
It's got Glenn Powell in it.
Glenn Powell fighting tornadoes.
Fucking love.
Yeah.
And also Daisy Edgar Jones.
I don't know her very well.
Oh, she's wunderbar. I like her a lot.
Okay, great. So next week, listeners, we'll be reviewing Twister and Twisters.
And I still have a huge back catalogue of things that I want to talk about, particularly long YouTube videos about Animal Crossing cheats. If anyone would like to come visit my island or visit your island, please hit me up. I'm looking for peaches.
We love you.
We love you.